Okay, so yeah, so hello everyone, good evening. I hope you are all safe. And my name is Vrijraj, and I'm Google developer expert for web technology and Firebase. And I'm going to talk about like how we can create a REST APIs with the help of Express.js, which is a framework of Node.js. So like in the last 2 days, I have talked about the backend technologies, like what are the backend technologies you can go with for writing a business logic, like the roadmap, like you can create your business logic or backend APIs or REST APIs with the help of maybe you can use JavaScript or the Node.js. Or if you are familiar with PHP, you can use PHP for writing your big business logic. Same with you can use Java or any other language, let's say Python. It's totally up to you. And yesterday we have talked about like how we can, what is the difference between JavaScript and the Java Node.js, sorry. So like JavaScript is just a programming language, and we can run this programming language over the browser. And in the browser, we have a rendering engine, means the JavaScript engine, which is responsible for running your JavaScript code. And without browser means without rendering engine, or we can say without JavaScript engine, we cannot run the JavaScript file out. So like if we have a JavaScript file and we want to run that JavaScript file, we need to run that JavaScript file within a browser itself. So we cannot run the JavaScript file outside the browser. So that's why there is a Node.js, which is a runtime environment, which came into the picture. And with the help of Node.js, you can run your JavaScript file without the browser. Like you just need to install Node.js in your operating system, and then you have a JavaScript file, and then you can go to the terminal and just type Node and file name of your JavaScript, and that's it. You can run on it. And inside Node.js, we have a concept of modules, like not in of modules concept in the Node.js, but we have a concept module concept in JavaScript. Like we can create a modules with the help of module.export. Like we can create a modules. Let's say we have created earlier arithmetic modules, and we have imported that modules in our JavaScript file. So similarly in Node.js, we have a lot of modules which is predefined. So last time we have talked about HTTP module, which is a predefined module in Node.js, and like with the help of this module, you can create a server. Like we can import that particular module, and then we can use the functions name is http.create server, and inside create server we can pass request and response as a callback, and then we can print the data, and then we can create a simple web server with the help of Node.js. So today I'm going to talk about like Express.js. So what is Express.js? So Express.js is a again it's a framework of Node.js. Let's say, like if you want to create a complex web applications, complex business logic, or maybe complex REST APIs, then if you are working on Node.js, so you need to write a lot of modules, or maybe you need to write work on a lot of functions, or writing a lot of business logic. So with the help of Express.js, that is for basically Express.js providing a lot of functionalities and the features. With the help of these functionalities, you can create a web application with the help of MVC architecture, as well as they are providing a set of functions and the features that you can use for creating a REST APIs. So, like for Express.js, you just need to go search on Google, and you will find a link like expressjs.org or .com. This is the main website for the Express.js, which is already written. This is a fast, unopinionated, minimalistic web framework for the Node.js. Like if you want to create a REST APIs, or if you want to create a backend logic, you can use Express.js. So today I'm going to talk about like there will be a like hands-on session. Like I will create a REST APIs. Like we can use like we will create get APIs, post API, API, and the delete API with the help of Node. So I will share my entire screen, and then we'll talk. We'll show you how we create those things. So okay. So I hope my screen is visible to you all. Okay. So, sorry. Okay. So as of now, we have a website Express.js. We have already installed Node.js in our operating system. So what we can do here, we have created a folder. Let's say my folder name is Express.js. So I can open this folder with the help of you can use VS Code editor. So I will just open this folder with the help of VS Code editor. So this is my IDE, and I have opened this particular workspace with my IDE VS Code editor. And now what I do here, I can go to the terminal, and then here we have a terminal. So let's say I wanted to create a file. File name is app.js, and I wanted to run this JavaScript file without the browser. So let's say I'm writing console.log, and then here we can write hello, and I will save. I can run this file with the help of Node.js. You just need to use Node and the file name app.js, and then press enter. Okay. So, like this is a simple thing. Like this is how we can run the JavaScript file without the browser with the help of Node.js. So, but if you want to create a web application with the help of Node.js, or if you want to create a web like business logic with the help of Node.js, so there is a one more command you can use. You can use npm init. With the help of this command, you can initialize a simple Node.js package. So I'll just type npm init and then wait for a few seconds. Okay, so yeah, so I just use the command npm init for initializing the simple package in Node.js. So after npm init, it will ask me like what will be the package name. Let's say my package name is Vrijraj server. You can use, let's say I am creating a REST APIs for my backend logic. So here I will write Vrijraj backend server. You can define the version; it's totally up to you. So I'll just skip this one part. Also, you can define the descriptions. Like, let's say I'm defining a description like this is REST API for Bridgeraj backend server, and then press enter. And then let's say I'm creating a REST APIs. So we have a lot of JavaScript file. So we need to define the first JavaScript file, which will be considered as an entry file. Like this will be the first file which will run, and then behind this file there will be a multiple modules. Okay, so here we can define, let's say I'm writing app.js, or maybe you can use server.js. So this is a main file. Like whenever I'm running a Node.js app applications, so this is the main file. This will run first. Okay, so I'll type server.js and then press enter. Then we have a test command. You can skip this one. Similarly, if you have a GitHub repository, you can mention. Otherwise, no. You can mention the keywords. It's totally up to you. And then you can also mention the author. Let's say I'm mentioning my author name is as a Raj, and then also you can mention the license. So again, this will create a simple schema. It's we can consider as a JSON file. So you can say yes, I'm ready, and then here we have a package.json file. Okay, so here we have a package.json file, which is a basically this is the main structure of your like brain of your web application. Here we can maintain the dependency of your Node.js applications and many more things. So now we have a simple package.json file, and now we have a application name, version, description, and this is the main file. So what I'll do here, I will create server.js file. Server.js file. This is the main file, and then here we have a package.json file. So here we can write the script. Let's say I'm writing a script. Let's say my script name is start, and then we can use like node, and then we can write start like server.js for running our web applications. Okay, so like when we use start, then behind the picture this command will run, because with the help of Node.js you can run the JavaScript file. The JavaScript file name is server.js. So with the help of server.js, sorry, Node.js, you can run this file. So you have to use this command. So how you can run this command? So what I'll do here, I will write console.log, and then here like hello from server, and I will save both file, and then what I'll type npm, and then you just need to type npm start, because here we have written start. So when we type npm start and then press enter, behind the picture, this command will be executed. And then here we have a output hello from server. This is here. Okay, so now we have created a simple like server with the help of Node.js. Now I need to work on Express.js, so I'll just go to the website Express.js, and this is a documentations, and this is a command like you need to install Express.js in your directory. So this is a command, and I just need to copy this command, and I will install this command here. So what I'll do here, I will paste and then press enter. So Express.js is a module, JavaScript module in the Node.js. So it will be installed in your current directory. There is a folder npm node modules. And then here we have a node modules. And then if you can go to the package.json file, so there will be a dependency sections like this Node.js having a dependency. This dependency name is Express because we are using Express.js as a framework for writing our business logic. Okay, so we have already installed Express.js in our operating system, like in the project. So we can use the Express.js. How we can use the Express.js? So what I'll do here, I will write like first we need to import Express. So I'll write Express is equal to. So how we can import those things like with the help of required keyword, and then we can use Express. And the next one part is we have to create an app. So we can create an app of Express. Okay, like with the help of Express.js, you can create a simple server. So I'll show you like I app.get means whenever we can pass the get request, let's say I'm calling a server, the URL is by default page, then we can create a functions. Let's say we have a request, and then we have a response as a callback, and then we can write, let's say, response.send, and then you can pass a message like hello from server. Okay, and similarly you can define the port number. You can use app.listen. So here we have a app.listen as a functions. Inside you can pass the like port number, and then you can pass the callback. So like if this function is working, and then it will show me the console log result here. So like this application is listening on this particular port number. So what I'll do here, I will save and I will start this applications. So I'll just type npm start and then press enter. So here my server is running, and this server is running on port number 3000. So what I do here, I will go to the new tab and just type localhost colon 3000 and then press enter, and here we have our output. Okay, so like earlier we have created a server with the help of Node.js, the core functionalities like HTTP module. Like we just import the HTTP module, and then we have used HTTP module dot create server, and then inside create server we have written those logic. But if we are working on Express.js, so these all are the first step. Like first we need to install Express.js in our Node.js application, and then you need to create applications, and then you can use app.get, and this is a URL. Let's say this is a URL. So let's say I have a website having a three pages. Let's say here we have a contact page, like the request is slash contact. So hello from contact page. And similarly, I have another page, like we want to share the page for, let's say, about. So if there is any request slash about, so hello from about page. So what I'll do here, I will save, and then here I will restart the server and then start once again, and then reload the page. So here we have a hello from server, and if I change the things like, let's say about, and then we have hello from about page, and then if I'll write contact, and then here we have output hello from about page. So we have created a server which will listen from this particular path. Like if the request is coming from base URL, so we have to send this data. If the URL request is coming from slash contact URL, then we have to share this data. If the request is coming from about slash about, then we have to share this response. Okay, so this is a simple thing, but one of the best disadvantage or the challenges for me as a developer, like whenever I'm updating my source code, I need to restart my server. So you can use alternative modules, so which is name is nodemon. So you can use nodemon. With the help of nodemon module, you can auto restart your server. Like you don't need to close the server and then again restart the server. So this is a node mod module. So you just need to go to the node mod module, And then here we have a command npm I node mode. So you just need to install copy this command, and then what you'll do here, you can close the server and just type the command and then press enter, and nodemon is going to be installed in your system. Okay, so we have installed nodemon. So what I'll do here, I'll just go to the package.json file, and then here I will type like we have a command start, and then we have a command node server.js. So what I'll do here, I'll just replace nodemon, and that's it. So with the help of nodemon module, we just need to type nodemon and then file name of the JavaScript file. It will automatically restart your server. So what I do here, I will just save and then close the file, and just we need to run the command npm start, and this command will start the nodemon server module, and this will automatically restart your web server. Let's say what I do here, we have a server.js file, and here we are writing like hello from server, and then here let's say I'll write tech drill and then save, and this automatically restart, and then here I'll just change the URL. So here we have a hello from server tag drill. So maybe here you can write, let's say DDD, and then save, and it will automatically restart your server. And then here we have our output. Okay, so with the help of Nodemon, you don't need to restart the server. It will automatically restart the server and do accordingly. Okay, the next step is like we need to create APIs. So we can create APIs. So what we can do here, I will let's say let's remove this part, and I wanted to create an API. So like in the day one, we have talked about like we have these type of requests. Let's say get request. So we can use like we can use the part, let's say API slash let's say uh, users. So with the help of these APIs, we can get all the user data. Like here we can write get all user data. There is another request. Let's say we can use get requests, and with the help of these requests, like we can have a path. Let's say API slash users, and here let's say I'm passing the ID. Let's say two. So I'm getting get user data whose ID is two. Okay. So similarly, we can create another API. My API's name is post because we have a post request for adding a data. So I'm using API slash users, and then here we have add data in database. Okay, so we have another APIs which is put API, put request. So with the help of put request, we can update the data. So here I'm using the path API slash user slash which user you wanted to update. So let's say I'm passing three, and then here we can write update user data whose ID is, let's say, three. And you can use another request, let's say delete request. So here I will write delete, and then we have a path, let's say API slash user, and which user you wanted to remove. Let's say I wanted to remove user 2 whose ID. So here we can write delete user data whose ID is, let's say, 2. So I wanted to create these APIs. So let's create first APIs. My first APIs is get all users. So how we can write, like here we have a command get, I'll write the comment like get all users. So here I will write get all users. So we have an app because we have created Express.js applications. What request we are using? We are using get request, so we have a get request. Okay. So inside, what will be the path? So my path name will be API slash users. Okay. On this path, we have a request. So we have a request. So I'll just copy the request. I need you as a request, and then we have a response, and then here we can call this response. Okay, so here what I do here, we can share the response like response dot send here like all user data. Okay, so we are sending a response from server to the browser with this particular text. Okay, so I wanted to create another API. So my another API is get single user data whose ID is this one. So here we can write app dot, this is again get request. So here we have a path API slash the path is user slash and then ID. So this ID will be dynamic. So how we can define the ID? So here we need to use colon symbol. So with the help of colon symbol, you can define this ID will be dynamic. Okay. So here we can send a response. Like here we can send a response dot send. Here we have a user data whose ID is, let's say I can pass the ID, like here you can write request, which the ID basically which is coming from this particular request object. And here we have another object inside request like params, and then we have a ID because we are passing this ID. Okay. So here we are collecting this ID with the help of these logic. Okay, so now we need to create another API so we can do that. But I wanted to test these APIs. So how we can test these APIs? Maybe if you are using the get APIs, you can test those APIs in the browser itself. So here we have a localhost colon 3000. You just need to type API slash, let's say I'm typing users. So here we have all user data. Okay, if I will type user slash, let's say 4545. So here we have a data like user data whose ID is this one. But I wanted to test these APIs with the help of API testing tools. Let's say I wanted to use Postman. So here we have installed Postman. So I'll just open Postman in my system. Till that time, any confusion doubt, you can ask your questions. So here we have a Postman application. So you can download this application from the net. And then here we have a dashboard. This is an application dashboard. You can close, yeah, I'll close those things. Okay, so here we have a dashboard. So like this is a Postman applications, and if you can go to the workspace, so here we have a workspace. So like you can select the workspace. Like let's say I'm working on my workspace as a sections, and then you can create a collection. So let's say I'm creating a collections for testing the APIs. So let's say my collections name is here. You can write rename. You just need to use rename, and then you can define the collections. Let's say my collections name is like tech drill or backend week. This is my collections name. Inside this collections name, we can test those APIs. Okay, so this is my collections, and then here inside this collections we can test those APIs. So what I'll do here, we have a plus symbol, and then here we have a section for testing the REST APIs. So here we have a type of request. So let's say I wanted to test get API, or I wanted to test, let's say post request, put request, fetch request. These all are the lot of requests you can use. But right now we are working on get request. So here we have type get. Okay, so then next step is we need to write localhost. So here we write http colon slash slash localhost, and then you can write, let's say local host colon slash slash, not slash slash 3000 colon, and then you can pass the path, let's say API slash users. Okay, so here we have a path. I can call these APIs, So here I'm calling these APIs and here I'm getting this data. Okay. And similarly, if you wanted to call another API, so what I'll do here, I will just copy the path and we'll go to the new tab and then pass this one. And here I'm passing the ID, let's say 5656, and then again request is get request, and I'm calling this API, and then here we have a response. Okay, so now you can save this response. Like if you want to save this API, so let's say first API is this, and I wanted to save this API. So here we have a collections. So let's say I have created a collections name is backend week. Here we have a collections, and then here we can write request name. So my request name is get all users. So here we have a get all users, and then just save, and that's it. So here we have a request get all user. So similarly, this is a get single user. So here we can write click on the save button and then we can save it get single user, and then save. That's it. Okay, so as of now, we have created two APIs. First API is for collecting all the data from the Git server, and the second API is collecting a user data whose ID is this one. So I wanted to create another API. So let's say I wanted to create another API for adding a data. So what I'll do here, I will write app, and the request is post because we wanted to add the data. So here I'll use post request. And then here we can pass the path, let's say API slash users. Okay. And then here we can write a response, let's say response dot send. And here we can write like user data edit. Okay, but we need to collect the data which will be coming from the browser end. So here, how we can collect the data? So here we have data to add. Like this data will be coming from the request. So here we have a request, and then we need to use body, and then we that's it. So request dot body. Here we have a data, and then you can bring this data here. Let's say I'll add a comma, and then you can pass this data. So I will save, copy, and paste. And we have another API. So what I'll do here, we'll go to the plus symbol, and then what I'll do here, I'll just copy the URL. I will paste it here, and this is the URL. And again, request is post request. So how we can pass the data for testing purpose? So what I'll do here, I'll go to the body sections, and then select the raw, and inside raw, and then you need to select the JSON file. Okay, so here we have a JSON. Here you can share the response. Let's say I wanted to add the data of user. So let's say username. Let's say I wanted to add Vrijraj in the database. So I will send this request, and then here we have an output. So post request API slash user. I will check. Okay, so let me remove this one and let's check this. It's visible or not. Yeah, so this is working, and yeah, you can print those data like in this way. Like say you can use plus symbol, and then you can write data to edit, and then here we can write this way. So I will save and then call the APIs once again, and here we have a data, but we are not getting actual data. This is undefined. So for resolving these issues, you need to install body parser. So here we have a body parser npm module. So here we have a body parser npm module. You just need to install this module. So I'll just copy this module, and so I'll just open the new terminal. So you can open this new terminal, click on the plus symbol, and then you can install body parser. Okay, and then with the help of body parser, you can collect the data from the browser end. So these all are the steps. First, you need to import the body parser. So here I will import the body parser. Like first, we'll write const, and then here we have a body parser. And the next step is if you can go to the documentations, here we have a documentations. Like if you wanted to use body parser, you just need to use these two commands. So here I'm just following the documentations and that's it. So I'm using body parser, I'm sending a data. So now I can test the data. So here I'm sending a data and then here we have an object. Okay. So like we are getting a data which is not undefined. Actually we are getting a data. Okay. So now we have created three APIs. Like first APIs is like collecting all data and collecting a single user data, and the third one is APIs for adding a data into the user. And similarly, we can create another APIs for updating a data. So here we write app.put request. With the help of put request, you can update the data. So here we have a path API slash user slash which user I wanted to update. So let's say I'll write colon ID. Okay, so now we need to collect the updated data which will be coming from the client end. So here we have updated data and then here we will get the updated data with the help of request.body. So here we have request.body and then here you can write response. Uh, Here you can write like user data updated whose ID is, let's say ID is, let's say how we can print the ID. So we have a request. So here I will write request. Then we have a parents. Inside parents, we are passing this ID. So we'll print this ID here. Okay. So we have created another APIs for updating a data. So we can check it on the Postman. So what I do here, right now we have a post API. So I can post these APIs. I can save this one like add user. This is the APIs. I will click and then click on save button. Okay, so we have another API, so I'll just copy and click on the new tab, and then we have a request here. Let's say I'm passing 454, and my request is let's say put request for like for testing put APIs, and then we'll go to the body sections. Again, we have a raw, and then here this can select the JSON, and then here we can pass the updated data. Let's say I wanted to change Vrijraj to Vrijraj Singh. This is the updated data, which will be coming from the browser end. But as of now, I'm sending this data from calling this API as a from Postman. So here I will call this APIs and then here we have a data, user data updated whose ID is this one. So we have created another APIs for updating a data. So I can save this one also, like we can write update user data. This is an API. Okay, so as of now we have created four APIs. So next one is APIs is for deleting a data. So here you can also create a API. So you need to write delete app.delete, and the request is API slash users slash ID, which user you wanted to delete. So here you can write colon ID, and then here you can send a response. So here you can write response dot send, and then you can write like user data remove whose ID is, and you can pass ID. So how we can pass ID? Request.parents.id. Okay. So this is the simple step. With the help of these steps, you can create a simple REST APIs. So I can comment this one. It's totally up to you, and I can check these APIs delete requests. So I'll just copy the path. I will go to the a new tab, and then here we can select the delete request, and then click on send button, and then user data remove whose ID is this one. So I will click on the save button, and then here we can write delete user, and then click on save button, and that's it. So as of now, we have created API for get all user data, SQL user data, add user, and then this one is for update user, and this one is for delete user. Okay, so now, like generally, whenever you are calling a APIs, let's say I'm calling the APIs, my API name is api.github.com/user. So this API will give you the JSON data. So how you can send this JSON data? Because right now we are sending a simple text message. So what we can do here, you can write response.json. So with the help of response.json, here you can send the response. Let's say I'm going to send a response. Let's say success is equal to true, and then here we have a data. Let's say here we can pass like all users data. So this is how you can send a response. So I will save, and again we'll go to the uh, Postman, and then we'll check get all APIs. So here we have a this response. Okay. Okay, so similarly, you can convert those things like we have a like we can comment this one, and here we can write response.json, and inside JSON we can pass the JavaScript object, and here we can write success is equal to, let's say, true, because this API will give you the success and then with some data. So here we have a data. So here we can write single user data. So here I'll just copy this one, I will paste it here. Okay. So I will save, I'll just go to the Postman, and then we'll call the APIs once again, and then here we have a JSON response. Like here we have a success is equal to true data, here we have a JSON data for user details. And tomorrow we'll connect these things with the database. Like actually I'm using hard coded things, and tomorrow we'll talk about like how we can connect database, and we will perform those APIs with the help of database. So similarly, you can write a logic here, let's say here for the adding a data. So you can write response.json, and then you can pass a JavaScript object, and then success is equal to true, and then you can pass the data. So let's say you can write like user data updated, whose ID is this one. So here you can write this one. And also you can write, let's say, updated data, another field, and this is updated data. So here you can print updated data, this one. So I will paste it here. Okay. So similarly, another APIs is for like not this one is not updated data. Yeah, new. So yeah, user data updated, and here you can print the data. Okay, no issue. So you can use this way. Okay. So we have another part. So here we'll write response.json, and then here we can pass a JavaScript object, and then here we can write success is equal to true, and then here we can write the logic, let's say data is equal to like user data updated. So I will copy this one, I will paste it here, and here you can write like updated data which we are passing. So this is updated data we are passing. Okay. So similarly, again you can do with like delete request. So we have a response.json, you can send a response as a JSON file. So here we have a response, here we can write success is equal to true, and then you can write like data is equal to blank. Okay, so because we want to remove the things, remove the data of the user, so final data will be removed. So what I do here, I will save and I will call the APIs. So this one is for get single data, this one is for adding the data. So here we have a response, and this one is for updating a data. So here we have a response like success is equal to true, user data updated, whose ID is this one, and then we have a response updated data which I'm passing from body here. Let's say will pass Vrijraj Singh 2, and then call the APIs. Here we have a response. So similarly, you can perform a delete request. So here we have a delete request, and we've got some output. Okay, so this is a simple thing. Like as of now, we have created a structure of your APIs. Like we have a created a APIs for the user where we can perform four CRUD operations. Like first one is for collecting all user data, and second operation is for collecting a user data whose ID is XYZ, and the next one is for adding the data in the database part, and next one is for, let's say, put request where we can update the data whose ID is XYZ, and the last one is for deleting data in the database whose ID is XYZ. So this is the structure, and tomorrow I will talk about database part, like we will connect our database, and here we will get the data from the database, and then we will print those things. Similarly, here we will perform the database operations queries, like we will get the data from the database, like whose ID is XYZ. Similarly, you can update the data in the database with the help of these APIs. And similarly, you can use put requests and then delete requests. So now I'll talk about, like, we have tested those APIs in Postman as a tools. Now, if you want to create a documentations, so you can also create a documentations. So what you can do, here we have a backend week, and if you can click on the backend week, and then you can click on view collections, yeah, view documentations, So here, if you can click on three dot, and then we have a section for view documentations. So here we have created our documentations. You can also publish these documentations on the web platform. So you just need to click on the publish button, and this documentation is going to be published. Okay, so here we have a configurations like what will be the version, what will be the environment variables, what will be the design. So I'm skipping all the things and then click on the create collections. Here we have a URL. So here we have a URL for APIs. So here we have a dashboard, like documentations, like we have created an API for collecting all user data, single user data, and add data in the database part, and similarly update data in the database part, and this is delete data in the database part. So you can select the API, like any language, like if you're pretty much comfortable with let's say, in for example Python. So like if you are pretty much familiar with Python, like how we can call the APIs in Python. So here we have a sample code, like how you can use these APIs. Okay, so you can select any language. Let's say if you are working on Dart, so here we have a sample code. So if you are working on let's say Java with this OK HTTP services, so here we have a documentation. You just need to copy this file, and then if you are a front end developer, you just need to integrate these things. So let's say I wanted to use fetch API, so here we can write JavaScript fetch, and then here we have a documentations, and that's it. So you can share this file with your friends. So this is how you can create APIs. So that's all from my end. Like for today, like like how we can create APIs, like with the help of REST, and how we can test those APIs on Postman server, and then we can how we can publish the documentations and how we can share those documentations with your company or the team. So yeah, so I'm open for the questions. Like if you have any questions, you can ask your questions. Thank you so much for joining us for today. Yeah. So what is middleware? Middleware is just like as a like if you are using body parser. So middleware is like whenever a request which will come from let's say client to the browser, or sorry, client to the server. So we can call some of the functions like before request going to the main file or maybe mails